is an icebreaker of the night. DJ will be starting off his presentation mastery class.
My kind of town Chicago is. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. I was born in the big city of euphoria, Chicago, where houses are stacked right next to each other, millions of people everywhere, and some of the best food you'll ever taste. It's one of the big things I miss from being in Chicago. But I was born in Chicago. I wasn't raised there. I actually was raised in Detroit. And growing up in the suburbs of Detroit, I did the typical suburban things. Too many hours spent in bowling alleys, too many late nights, closing out days. But it wasn't until I went to college is where I broke out of my metropolitan ways and actually experienced the outdoors. When I went to college, I went to Michigan State University, and I met my friend Luke. And Luke lived in northern Michigan, which is about 3 hours north of Michigan State. And I remember he was amazed that I had never been up north and experienced the outdoors. So of course, one weekend, where there was an event going on, he invited me up. And I remember going to his house. And the first thing I remember is that his house was actually stacked up right behind the woods, like legit woods, where like legit bears could come into his backyard. And then the next thing I remember is that his neighbor's house was all the way over there, and his other neighbor's house was all the way over there. And it was such a contrast from how I grew up, where houses were stacked right next to each other. And the big three things I remember about this weekend were all firsts. The first thing was shooting a shotgun. I had never shot a gun before, ever. And so he took me out to a big open field. He had this contraption that shot discs in the air. And he took a shotgun, he traced the disc, and he shot it, and it splattered in the air. And then he gave me the shotgun, shot the disc in the air. I traced it, shot it, and it went through the air unscathed until it landed all the way to the ground. I was not a good shot, but it was a thrilling moment for me because, again, I never shot a shotgun before, or any gun. The second event I did was I actually saw for the first time a big body of water called a lake. And on this lake had boats. And I went on a pontoon boat. It was a flat boat that goes like 5 miles an hour around the lake. And I can tell you one thing, there's not many more things more relaxing than going around a lake in a pontoon boat at 5 miles an hour around the summer. But the big third thing I did was actually go camping. And again, legit camping. I just remember walking and wondering, when are we gonna get to wherever we're going deep in the woods? But then finally we got there. And I remember it was a great time. There was a diary there where people would write all the memories and all the times that they had visiting this campsite. Built a tent. They got to stay in that. Had a campfire, music and acoustic guitar. It was a fantastic time, and we were drinking and all that. We actually did some other things too, because this event was called Dank Fest. And if you don't know what Dank Fest is, I can just say that when we went there, there was a lot of hippies that were camping with us. So all in all, it was a good time, and it was a very memorable time to me. But I will say it was so impactful that as soon as I graduated from Michigan State, I went back to Chicago and lived in the city for another decade. The city calls me, and even though I love the outdoors and I love the experience and I love all of my outdoor friends, it's just not on the top of my list of things to do when I'm looking for things to do. And even as I moved to Arizona, where all this outdoor activity, I have friends that have trailers, I have friends that have cabins. I've been to my friend's cabin like once or twice. I've been hiking maybe 3 times. Because at the heart of me, I'm just a city boy. Not born, but raised. in suburban Detroit.